Welcome to Movement Parallels Life. My name is Kellen Mylad, and these are ground movements for longevity. Today, we're exploring the side sit position. So I call it the side sit. You might know it as the 90-90 position, the Shinbox. Call it whatever you want to call it, but just think of it as universal human movement. So working from this position today, we're going to explore some variations that are great for mobility. And they're just great everyday movements to take care of your body. So start off, get yourself set up here, legs at about 90-degree angles. And then to begin, you can lean back, post your arms behind your hips. Just make sure you're not collapsing into your shoulders, but actively pushing the ground away, keeping some stabilizing tension through your midsection. And then feet are going to stay in contact with the ground as you take your knees from side to side. We want to make this action really relaxed, breathing, maintaining enough tension to stabilize the body, but also being relaxed enough to let the hips rotate freely. So this hip that's internally rotating, I like to press into the ground a little bit more. You can play around with expanding the range of motion and following the sensations of stretch that come up for your body. That's a great guide to be able to go through these movements and just check in, just listen, and tailor the movement based off of the feedback that your body is giving you. So if that's going pretty smoothly, next, you can try going through that action while releasing your hands from the ground. So it might just be one hand on the ground, or maybe releasing both. Notice that as you go through the transition, your spine might flex a bit, but then laying your hips to the ground and sitting up tall. Just get a few more here. And then we'll add a piece. Shift your weight forward up onto your knees and ease your way down back to a sitting position. Then take your knees over to the side, shift forward, rise up onto the knees, sit, swivel, and rise. Again, you can use your hands to assist, and just coming into this split kneeling position, again, checking out what kind of stretches come up for your body, holding those with strength, controlling yourself as you sit down to the floor, whether that's using a hand or not, that's your business. And smoothly switching sides. Maybe from this split position, the back leg can step forward, coming out to a lunge. Create a little bit more of a balance challenge. We'll pause there. Next variation. From the base side sit position, now the back leg is going to lift. Maybe just checking with that first. Lean to your front hip. Just enough where you can lift the back leg to hover off the ground and maybe see how tall you can sit up. Then the leg is going to straighten out. I'm going to bring it forward. Come into this figure four leg position. Let me just try that leg sweep 3 times. Really challenging the lateral hip. From this figure four position, lean back onto the glutes, switch, and we'll work the other side for 3 sweeps. Hover, extend, and bring it forward. Again, might use some hand ground contact. Place your hands down if that helps. One more. Bring it forward, switch, straight leg, wraps back. Now can we start to link those together? Sweep forward, switch the figure 4, wrap the straight leg back. So I like to challenge you to do this, go through this pattern very deliberately first, and then we can start to play around with it, explore it different ways, but a lot of good strength and mobility to be found by very mindfully going through that transition step by step. We'll pause there, add a piece, add a layer. So again, more ways to create stretch from the side sit position. Next, we'll look at a forward fold. So keeping your spine elongated, reaching out to the crown of your head, leaning forward from the hips. Place your hands down on the floor. And with the hand placement, you can use that to sweep from side to side. Maybe rising up and lowering down in a circle. Or you can start reaching. Deepening the hip stretch, and when we start twisting, getting some nice stretching through the sides. We use this sweeping switch, come over to the other side. Folding forward, sweeping, reaching. Working within your range of motion here, and then over the course of time, you make these part of your daily movement practice. You'll start to see your strength and mobility grow just by having greater ease and range of motion within these different patterns. Let's get one more on the other side. And then last variation today, starting to make this a little bit more dynamic, a little more playful. I'm going to lean to the side of my front hip, plant one hand, lean into that arm a bit so I can kick my back leg forward. And now we have that sweeping switch, but we're just going to add a little bit of a spin and make it more dynamic. Coming down to this forward fold position, leaning to the side, kicking the back leg through, spinning, finishing the transition back in this low position. So again, this was our base today, the side sit position. There's a lot of goodness to explore here as far as developing strong and healthy hips. This is a position that ideally you're getting in pretty much every day at some point, spending a little time sitting on the ground in this way. And today we just went through some variations of movement that you can continue to play with, experiment, link together, and take these movements. Don't worry about doing them right. Worry about being consistent. You'll learn more about the movements as you practice them. So spend a little bit of time on the ground each day to take care of yourself, to foster mobility, make sure that you can stay moving well for a lifetime. All right, thanks so much for moving. All right, thanks so much for moving with me today. I'll see you in the next practice.